ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing welcome you live to Darlington Raceway in South Carolina for the NASCAR Winston Cup Transouth Financial 400. It's the 5th race of the year. Mike Skinner continues to hold on to the points lead, coming into this race by just 32 over Bobby Labonte. He has been the story here this weekend, however. His possible road to the NASCAR Winston Cup after getting off to such a great start in 1999 suffered a serious setback on Friday.
This has been a weekend to forget for Corpus Christi native Bobby Labonte. On Friday morning, just after 9:30 a.m., he slammed the turn 2 wall hard in his Busch Grand National Pontiac, suffering a fractured right scapular shoulder blade and numerous other bruises. Today, a battered but not beaten Bobby Labonte, barely able to move his right arm without significant pain, will attempt to start and complete a limited number of laps in his Interstate Battery Pontiac prior to giving way to substitute driver Matt Kenseth.
They just got the word 1 lap to go, and Bobby Labonte has decided not to come onto pit road to make the driver change with Matt Kenseth. What they had wanted to do was waited for the field to close up as close as they could, and then they were going to come in. But then they got the word that now it is 1 to go. Bobby says he feels fine. He's just riding around out there. The car feels pretty good. And Matt Kenseth waiting. He will go into the car, in the 18 car, in the next available opportunity. Labonte is hoping to get a caution again soon.
And I think right now, Bobby Labonte is waiting for the rain. As you look over towards turn 3 and 4, it's dark over there. That's where the weather comes in from this area, and it looks like it is going to rain. And if it doesn't, Bobby Labonte made a serious mistake. But right now, I think he's waiting for the rain to make that driver change.
You know, he has to be in pain because of the broken shoulder blade that he suffered on Friday, but he's staying out there as long as he can. Of course, the most important thing was just to start the race and take the green flag, because he will now earn points wherever that car finishes.
Still waiting for Bobby Labonte to come on to pit road. They have decided, since everybody else pitted, he'll come in next time by. He stayed out to lead a lap and possibly pick up 5 bonus points.
Plus the fact that that put him at the head of the pack when he comes in, as opposed to back in the pack, give him a lot more time to make that driver change if they choose to do that.
Now we see Bobby Labonte's pit crew getting ready for the Interstate Batteries Pontiac to come in.
Bobby Labonte comes into his pit. He's already got the belts off. The window net is down. Matt Kenseth standing there. They will make a chassis adjustment as Bobby gets pulled from the car. He said he felt all right. Now Matt will go into the car. They'll have to get him belted up, hook up the radio, and make sure that they do not lose a lap as the rain starts to come just a little bit harder right now. But Labonte has gotten out of the car. Kenseth is inside, and they should have no problem getting him strapped up, hooked up, and ready to go without losing a lap.
You see Bobby Labonte looked like the pain of him jerking him out of that car. He almost went to his knees when he stood up on pit road. Just the guy almost grabbed him by the shoulder to pull him out of that car. See Earnhardt making that up, and there we see the grill that John talked about.
There is Labonte with the broken right shoulder blade.
Looks like they're going to stop the cars over here on the front stretch as they continue that over there. But those cars that are on pit road, I think they need for them to finish what they were doing before they stop. But they are bringing them to a very slow crawl, at least over here on the front stretch.
There's Mike Helton, the minister that follows the circuit, talking to Bobby Labonte.
I'm sure it's tough for him to climb out, but with that injury that he received, it kind of makes it easy.
I said Mike Helton. It's Max.
Max, yes.
Helton.
Mike Helton works for NASCAR.
Yes.
All right, down to Jerry Punch.
And Ned, the reason they're going to stop them right here at the end of pit road is NASCAR has told all the crews to get to your car as quickly as you can with a tarp to cover it. They know this rain may not last very long, but it is expected to be a downpour for just a few minutes, meaning they don't want to get water in the car or in and around the engine compartments. They're going to try to cover them as quick as possible. Let's go back over to John Kernan and talk with Bobby Labonte.
Bobby, very gutsy performance considering the amount of pain. What was it like?
Well, I tell you, they worked on me earlier today, and they got the paint where it was really pretty good. So, just racing the racetrack, that's what we're supposed to do here. So, wasn't really hurting that bad when I got in the car. So, hate to get out, but got to.
So I guess you couldn't shave this morning because you can't get your right hand up, huh?
Nah, I could have worked my left. I really didn't want to, though.
Thanks a lot, Bobby.
We may see a bearded Bobby Labonte here before long.
Hey, John, I've got a one owner. I'll send right over to you just a moment. It's slightly used, but it'll be okay. We're over here actually in the Valvoline truck where Matt Kenseth had come over to talk and visit a little bit with Mark Martin. Matt, I got to ask you, first of all, you've got a pretty good scene to uphold here. You got a guy driving with one hand that was passing cars. Now you got to get in that car and pass them with two hands.
Yeah, Bobby said the car was pretty good, so that's a good sign. It was pretty decent in happy hour. And said it was a little loose today, so they were just going to make one small adjustment. And I'll get a chance. I just ran that little bit there. We just made the switch. But Bobby was running pretty good, and hopefully I can do a decent job.
You had to be thrilled. I know when Bobby was injured on Friday morning, we were over in the care center, and once they knew he was going to be okay, the very first thing he did was reach up with his good arm, grab Jimmy Makar's shirt, and said, "Go talk to Matt Kenseth." There was no one else even thought about.
Well, that's flattering. I think they probably had a couple options going there, but that's definitely flattering, and it's it makes me feel good to be able to drive Bobby Labonte's car. I think they're second in points, and they asked me to fill in. That makes me feel pretty good.
Now, your buddy Mark Martin, a little bit under the weather here. I understand he's had the flu all week and had a tough time even being in the car and qualifying in practice. They told me he's gone over to lay down in a motorhome. Pretty tough to be in a race car when you don't feel good.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even know that. I just got over here and he was already gone. So, yeah, there's been a couple people sick this weekend, but Mark's pretty tough. I'm sure that's not going to bother him too much when he's in the car.
Can't leave without mentioning a great run yesterday in the Busch car. You won the Busch Series of Diamond Hill Plywood 200. Tremendous momentum for you toward a Busch championship here in 1999.
Well, I hope so. There's a lot of things that go into winning a championship, but I feel like, we should have as good a shot as anybody. I feel like our program is coming around again. We got the motor thing under control, and, the Dwell Chevy ran really, really good all day yesterday, and the guys were back up to speed, had awesome pit stops for me, and, it was a total team effort yesterday. They gave me a great car.
Hey, good luck for the rest of the day.
All right, thanks, Jim.
All right, yesterday you see the celebration in Victory Lane. Matt Kenseth had never run that well at Darlington Raceway, but wow, what a performance yesterday, Saturday afternoon here in a 200-mile, 147-lap race. And by the way, updating Mark Martin's situation, Mark has had the flu, is very, very under the weather, came back here when the rains began, changed out of his uniform, put his dry street clothes on, has gone back to his motorhome to lay down. Does not feel very good at all. And Mark Martin is about as tough as they get. When he doesn't feel well, folks, it's got to be a pretty significant illness.
Back here with Jimmy Makar. And Jimmy, Bobby's out of the car. Matt Kenseth's ready to restart the race. What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, right now we just need to get the car home in a decent finishing position. We're real fortunate here. The Lord blessed us really well with this rainstorm, and it couldn't come at a better time to get Bobby out and Matt in and not lose any laps. And so the car, Bobby said the car was good for him not being in it at all this week. He told Matt he had a good race car to go drive, so we just need to keep Matt to get him back toward the front of the pack. He did a great job during practice yesterday for us. We feel like we have a pretty good race car here, so we'll just see what he can do.
I just talked to Bobby over on the front stretch before coming over here. He said he was on the way out to the car to talk to Matt. What kind of words of advice do you think he's going to give him?
Well, one of the things he wanted to do was just talk to him face-to-face about exactly what the car was doing as he was driving it, and what he thought about the race car, and to make sure Matt understood what he felt, and just to make sure that he knows that not to overdrive the car, that this is Darlington. You race the racetrack until the end of the race, and to make sure he just understood that the car was good enough that he didn't have to get too aggressive with it.
And Bobby Labonte's one tough guy, isn't he?
No, I'll tell you what, he's my hero, no doubt. For me to watch that wreck on Friday and see him run 30 laps out here today, I tell you, the boys endured a lot of pain, and got to give a lot of credit to the trainers from the Panthers that were working with him. They really helped him the last 2 days get to feeling a lot better where we could get in that race car and go.
Thanks, Jimmy. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Back upstairs.
Here's the crash that they're talking about. It happened Friday shortly after Busch practice started. He was hard into the outside wall in turn 2, then hit the inside wall with tremendous force, obviously favoring the right side of his body at that point. He climbed over the wall and then collapsed. The medics were right there, and the diagnosis was a broken right shoulder blade. Bobby Labonte did start the race today. In fact, was passing cars and moving up, and then the rainstorm did occur, allowing him to get out of the car at Matt Kenseth to get in. Kenseth, by the way, was the winner of the Busch race yesterday.
And he was very good in that car in happy hour yesterday afternoon. And so he has a lot of laps on the track in that race car, so that should help him, even though he is at the rear. It's a good car, and I think he'll be able to come up towards the front.
Now, Jerry, what about rehab for Bobby Labonte? How long is he going to be out of competition, at least on a regular basis?
Well, Bob, ordinarily you or I, if we were to break our scapula or a shoulder blade, we would have trouble moving our arm at all. And you're talking 6 to 7 weeks for that to heal. Now, it's the very tip of the scapula, tip of the shoulder blade, the very point, they call it the wing, that snapped off when he hit the wall. Al Shuford is here. He's assistant trainer for the Carolina Panthers National Football League team as a part of Richardson Sports. He is a friend of Bobby Labonte and a number of the drivers. He took care of Ricky Craven. He came down, was called immediately, and worked with Bobby for the past 2 days, put a unit in Bobby's motorhome to try to decrease the swelling. Now, he basically braced Bobby in the car prior to the day's race. And what Bobby told me about 10 minutes ago was he could take his fingers and walk up the steering wheel and grab the wheel. He couldn't move his arm around on the wheel because he didn't have any strength because of the broken shoulder blade. He also couldn't take his thumb and reach the radio button. So only under caution could he drop his arm down and grab the radio. He told the spotter, if you see me coming down pit road, tell the crew because I won't be able to tell you if I pit for a driver change. Now, what will happen this week? Bobby had scheduled a lot of things in Texas for Interstate Batteries and also a commercial for Pontiac on Tuesday. That will probably all be canceled. He'll spend every single day at the Panthers rehab facility in Charlotte getting the shoulder worked on. He will probably be able to drive a portion next week at Texas. They have a week off, and then comes, of course, Bristol. That one would be awfully tough. But in 1995, Bobby Labonte broke his left scapula here at Darlington. The next week, he ran 100 laps at Bristol, and 1 week later, 2 weeks after breaking the scapula, he sat on the pole at Martinsville, Virginia. So he is definitely one tough customer.
Hey, Doc, what's that noise I hear behind you?
Music to my ears, guys. They are firing them up. The sun is shining. Let's get it on at the track Too Tough to Tame.
And there's Jimmy Makar talking with Bobby Labonte. They're going to be watching Matt Kenseth now the rest of the way as Matt tries to salvage a good finish for Bobby Labonte.
And Ed, you said that Matt was pretty doggone fast and happy hour in this car.
Yes, he was. He was very good yesterday afternoon. And the thing that he has to employ now is patience. Not get overly aggressive, but certainly try to stay on the lead lap, which I think he'll be able to do.
They just opened pit road, and then they got the one to go, and Jimmy Makar not too happy about that. Matt Kenseth just now asking if they want him to come in anyway and pit, and they say, yeah, Bobby Labonte just made the call, said, yeah, pit. So it'll be 4 tires to go for Matt Kenseth, and now they canceled the one to go. We see that Jimmy Makar gets the good news from the NASCAR official. He wasn't too happy about that, but Matt Kenseth now coming down pit road here on the backstretch. Dale Earnhardt also coming in. Remember, he messed up his grill just a little bit, so they'll do some work on that as well. But right now we're waiting for Kenseth to make it in to his pit stall where they'll do 4 tires, not anticipating any chassis adjustments. They made a chassis adjustment on the left rear of that car when they made the driver change. But here he comes. He's about 5 pit stalls away. 4,000 RPM, second gear. Kenseth now goes to the attention of Bobby Labonte's crew. They'll swing around to the right side, replacing putting brand new tires on that, not putting the fuel in just yet, as Peter Jellin has the can of fuel. It will go in left side. So looks like a pretty good pit stop so far. No problems. All the luck that's staying on. They've got them tight full of fuel. Matt Kenseth is down and away.
And now they're getting the one to go signal here on the front stretch. So Kenseth and Earnhardt and the others who made a pit stop will fall in behind and will be ready to go. The 18 car of Kenseth is up to 12th.
He is doing a masterful job at driving that race car. Remember, he had to, when they changed drivers, he had to start the rear of the pack. He's up to 12th.
Man, what a job he is doing. Let's watch Matt Kenseth when he goes down in turn 3. Goes in the corner, turns it. That's what we're talking. Turns it. No, he's not pushing very much because he's going back to the right a couple times, catching the back end of that car as he goes to the corner.
Now, the guy that's right behind him is Bill Elliott, and he is the driver that Matt substituted for at Dover last year when Bill's father died. And Kenseth took Elliott's car to a 6th place finish after starting 16th in his only NASCAR Winston Cup start. You saw some lightning back there, too. And another team that wouldn't mind seeing the caution come out right now for rain is the 18 car, John.
Last lap by, Matt Kenseth radioed in and said the car's a little loose. I'm a little hard on the right rear tire. So, guys, he's running in 12th right now. Everybody else down here is waiting for the rain to start. Matt said, next pit stop, let's tighten this car up just a little bit. Jimmy Makar smiled, a wide smile from ear to ear, and said, okay, got you, Matt. You want more bite on the next pit stop.
Matt is thinking about going the full distance here this afternoon. He's having such a great run out there, and Bobby Labonte is obviously very pleased with the performance of young Matt Kenseth, substituting for Bobby, who broke his right shoulder blade in a Busch crash earlier this weekend.
Standing alongside Bobby Labonte and his crew chief, Jimmy Makar, and right now, Bobby's relief driver, Matt Kenseth, sits in the 10th position. Not too shabby, huh? Bobby's done a good job for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we picked him Friday afternoon or Friday morning, that was we thought he'd do a great job, and he's done a great job. And the car was a little tight for him when he got in it and made an adjustment, got a little bit loose. So if it does dry off, we'll try to get in between that.
What about next week? I would imagine the same scenario. You guys going to chat with Matt again to see if he can help you out next week?
Well, we're going to take it one day at a time. You know, it's only Sunday, so we're going to go to work Monday in rehab and do some stuff all week next week if we can until Friday gets here, and then we'll kind of evaluate it and see where we're at. But at least running a few laps this morning or this afternoon helped out. Got me where it didn't really feel all that bad. Better than I thought it'd be. So that relieved a lot of pressure on my mind, I think, just knowing that I got back in there and I felt a lot better with it.
Well, a lot of people are hoping for the rain to continue, but we swing over here to Jimmy Makar, and you say, hey, let's go back racing again. Aren't you satisfied with 10th place?
I don't think racers are ever satisfied. We got a good race car. Matt's doing a real good job for us. I think we obviously got a better car than what's shown on the scoreboard. He's had to come from last all the way to 10th. And like Bobby said, I think if we make one more adjustment to the car, I think he can run in the top 5 with it with no problem. So it's good for him. I just like to see him get to run a few more laps. Obviously, anything can happen if you get back out racing again. But I think he's having a good time. We're having a good time with him, and it's been a lot of fun. Like to have Bobby Labonte in that race car, obviously, but I think we can gain a little bit if we go back racing.
Believe it or not, probably the only people here who want to run some more laps today.
Well, if they don't, Matt has certainly a lot to be proud of, because he has, as was indicated, driven that car up to 10th place. Well, here are the results. 12 cars finish on the lead lap. Matt Kenseth, in substitution for Bobby Labonte, brought the 18 car home in 10th place.